Alrighty guys, so we have stripped everything off the front end of the Blazer. Got everything new for this. I've been cleaning it as much as I can, trying to get all the grease and grime off of it from the years of leaking main rear seals and that kind of thing, doing the best I can. And we're just gonna hit this with some black paint in there, make it look a little better. And then we have a whole bunch of new parts, new upper and lower control arms, all new bushings, everything for the front of this, new shocks. So it'll be all completely new and look good under there. So I'm gonna hit this with some paint and then we'll have a little time lapse of putting all the parts back on. The rear end is already switched over from this Blazer because you can see how low it's sitting back there, sitting super low. So this one will have pretty much the same ride height. Now, I know this one was slammed. It did look really cool, but currently we need to be able to get this thing on the trailer, move it around and that kind of thing easily, getting into the Burnout competition. So we're not gonna have it super low right now. I know it stinks, but we will, if it does a good Burnout, which I'm hoping it will, we'll, I think, have something cool to address that in the future. But for right now, going to just leave in the lowering blocks that were originally on the black Blazer. So that rear end is already welded diff, so we'll be good to go there. Just getting the front end set up, put the old CTSV brakes back on this one, and we should be ready to rock. So we'll have a time lapse of me putting this all back together, and I guess in the next clip you'll see me painting it. Not gonna film that, but you'll see it looking all black. Look at the size of the springs we pulled out of this thing. They had cut this so much. That's why it was sitting so low to the ground. But we are all painted. I know I said we were going to show you time lapse next, but there it is painted. I want to show you how small those little springs were. But yeah, that's all the parts we took off. I didn't realize I had it sitting over here. Got everything off. We got the new knuckles here, or the old knuckles that we modified on the black Blazer, and all the new parts. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get all these new front end suspension parts installed on the truck. Give it a quick clean up underneath, and we can get to work. So we got the upper control arms going on. These are just some cheap ones from Speedway. Then you see me putting on the lower control arm. Gonna get that in, kind of a pain to put it in. It was a bit tight, but able to get it in. And then the next part that's gonna be a little interesting was putting the spring in and then compressing it so that I could get the upper ball joint in. You'll see me have to sit on the actual front end, try and keep it down as I'm jacking it up. And then as I'm doing that, the whole Blazer is moving backwards, so I went ahead and put a jack underneath the back just to keep it from flipping up. Was able to get this driver's side, but the passenger side was definitely giving me some trouble. So I did get lucky, and while I was in the middle of trying to hold it down by sitting on the front, Ryan's dad walked in and being able to help me get that ball joint put in, and then he helped me with the rest of front end steering components. So we got all those put on, and then also got the CTSV brakes bolted back on. So everything from the black Blazer is now over to the new Rat Rod Blazer, and all new steering components. Alrighty guys, so in the time lapse, us getting on all the new lower control arms, upper control arms, sway bar end links, all new steering components. You can see I even powder coated these springs. In addition to that, I got the CTSV calipers all back on, looking real good. And it looks like from the fire, you can see it charred up the inside of this wheel, which makes it even more seeming like the fuel lines that came out of here is what lit on fire, because this side's completely fine. So probably have to find a new tire for that side. So next thing, we are going to install the new steering column. Got a nice Motion steering column, Motion Raceworks. This will bolt right in, comes with the two Heim joints, and then the shaft will have to cut down to fit. So that's gonna work a whole lot better than the super janky setup from before. So let's go ahead and get this thing installed. Alrighty guys, so these are the wheels that were originally came on the Blazer that had the big slicks on them. And I want to use these wheels just for basically transporting the Blazer, and then also after you pop the tires, or hopefully pop the tires since we haven't really done that yet, then these will get used to go ahead and roll the Blazer back to the trailer or drive it back to the trailer, and then be able to get it back on without having the floppy wheel of the, blown tire on. So I want to make these look cool. So we're going to go ahead and clean them up. You can see there is a ton curb rash. They actually have holes in them from being drilled for your redneck beadlocks. But we'll get them cleaned up and get them powder coated. So let's start grinding on them. Okay, so these by no means have to be perfect, but a whole lot better. We got a lot of the really bad rash out, and a lot of this won't even be super noticeable. As you can see, this is what it looked like before. There you go. And we'll get that all cleaned out and look more like this. There's a little bit, this was a pretty deep one over here, but I'll probably sand on it just a little bit more. And once we powder coat it, it'll look a whole lot better. Slide them in to preheat them so we can hot flock them. All right, so I went a little heavy with the gold flake in there. And honestly, I gotta say, it looks way better in person than it is picking up on the camera here. But regardless, looks 100 times better than that. So that should match our little bit of our gold theme, which you guys will see here shortly for all the powder coat stuff. I'm gonna get the tires mounted back on these, and then we'll bring it over to the Blazer and see how it looks on the back. It should look pretty cool with the welds in the front, these in the rear. So let's go check it out. Alrighty guys, back over here at Ryan's dad's shop, working on the Blazer. Got the wheels all powder coated up, and the old tires put back on. It's got a ton of gold flake, hard to see, but you'll see it in the sunlight. It should look super cool. So obviously these are pretty shot, but these are great rollers for once those blow at the track. So we're gonna take those off, test fit those. And then also I've been searching forever to find a set of these small stock fender flares. So these usually come, I think, on the 4x4, and then most people take them off to put other ones on, so these end up getting lost, or people want a lot of money for them. So got lucky and was able to find actually every one but a missing front passenger side, and that was the only one that was still good from the fire. So let's go ahead and throw these fender flares on, and then we'll go ahead and throw the wheels on to get the full look of the new chassis. All right, got the fender flares on. Now, these were off of some older Blazers, so they are pretty faded, so we can go ahead and paint them. I put the fronts on, and I was like, man, I don't know if I really like it, but I think once it's lowered and maybe a little bit more offset, it'll look good. But it's definitely changing the, the look of the truck since it's more rat rod. And with the fender flares, I don't know. You guys will have to let me know what you think down in the comments. What are you doing, Kip? What do you think, big man? But once I put the back one on, I kind of like it. Let's go ahead and throw the big wheels on and see how it looks from there. Maybe, so this one's a little more black than those, so maybe if we paint it black, it'll look a little better, but let's check it out with the wheels on. I don't know about you, but that did it for me. Once we put those big ass wheels on there with the powder coat, that thing looks sick. It's got very high ride height here, but I can throw in a picture of how it looked with an engine sitting in it in the same suspension setup, so it should sit down probably 2-3 inches when we put the engine in. But that thing looks awesome. All the meat. They're gonna look terrible when we put back the other wheels on, but I'm liking it now. So I think we get rid of some of this chrome bumper here and the old chrome that was there and go ahead and go black there. That should look good. Maybe we gotta tint these windows and stuff, but overall, I'm liking the way the chassis is looking so far. Looking pretty good. We got everything transferred over, everything painted up here, looking real good. Fowler did a freaking awesome job on that. We have all new steering components, and I did get a new steering column. And I don't know what part it'll be in this video or not, but apparently this is not a 91, and I ordered a steering column for a 91. So I think there's some weird, I think it's like 88.5 they changed. So anyway, got the wrong steering column, but we have another build that Fowler got with another, I'll go ahead and say it S10 since we seem to do a ton of these, but we're gonna switch around steering columns, so we should be able to just swap the outer sleeve on the column and make it work for this. So once we get the other two S10s in here and swap that all around, we'll have a new steering column in there, so now the chassis will be really good. Be able to steer, because that other steering column was trash. We might have to take that one, weld something on it to put it in the other truck to make it safe. But yeah, looking good so far. All right, so obviously there's a whole bunch more we got to do to the chassis to get it ready, but at least we've got it mostly looking good, ready to accept the new swap. So the next video will have the engine build, and you'll see kind of what we're redoing on that to make this thing even more special. And then, so let me know in the comments what you guys think of the fender flares, the powder coat with a little bit of gold sparkle in there. That's kind of a hint as to what we're gonna do in there. Let me know what you guys think of the new build and how it looks with the fender flares. Let me know if we should keep those or not. Maybe we'll just paint them gloss black. And then should we go ahead and re-clear this thing so it looks even better? But in the comments, let me know what you guys think. Appreciate you guys watching. I'm really excited about this. It's starting to come together. Let me know what you guys think. And I probably said that about 100 times now, but thanks guys for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.